Hello and welcome. I want to give you a slightly different perspective for determining needs and setting objectives. I'm going to be coming from a manufacturing perspective, where our text is coming right now from primarily a management training sort of perspective. The Kirkpatrick model works for either manufacturing or management type training, but it takes a different shape for manufacturing. This different shape or nuances that take place for manufacturing training is where I'd like to kind of jump in and give my perspective. For me, the first step is to clearly define why people are looking at training for a solution. What happened, what's the issue, and what are the underlying causes? When you do this successfully, what happens is you can map your training directly to ROI, and that's a huge help for any training organization. One technique that I use is to ask why 3 times, because generally the first response is sort of cursory, high level, and then when you ask why 3 more times, what happens is you get something that you can map directly back to a metric, and that metric can map directly back to return on investment. The next best practice, or the next step in our text, is to ask participants. What I commonly like to do is first define who that audience is and make sure I have a sample that is appropriate for that environment. It's important when you define your audience and ask people to participate as part of the sample that you take into account skill levels if it's a manufacturing job, because a journeyman will answer questions quite different than an apprentice quite often. Once the issue has been defined and you have your audience, you have your sample population that you're going to do your needs analysis with, one question always has given me the best product ever, and that question is, how would you learn this the best? Whenever I've asked that question, I've gotten some fantastic input, and it's made the training classes that I've developed highly successful. The entire programs have been successful because we look from their perspective rather than just mine. And another amazing thing happens when I ask that question is that everybody in that room who is participating takes ownership of that program. So you can pretty well bet that it's going to be a success because everyone wants it to be. And when they go back to the shop area where it's going to be implemented, they will have a large influence on the success of that program. With that being said, since we're looking from a manufacturing perspective, let's jump in to a task analysis as opposed to just a needs assessment at this time.